Back, everybody, for Chump Change, the final Chump Change of Season 1. This is the show where we talk about the weird truths behind the lies. And there were a lot of lies today, actually. So we want to hear some of the true stories behind that. Actually, no one told the truth during the pushing the envelope game.
No.
And all the stories are worth hearing, I feel like. I mean, let's start with Chris here. So Chris, so you had the club incident.
Yes.
Where you were
I was kicked.
And we originally had written down on the card, I was once attacked in a club. And Chris was like, I want it to be known that I was not attacked. I was kicked. And he made that very important distinction. So why is that distinction
Because I didn't
made?
want my truth to be a lie.
I mean, that's fair.
You know what I mean? So I was dancing with, it's a longer story, but I was dancing with this girl, but she was like I just met her that night, but she was like, I guess playing that kind of like angry, hard to get thing.
Barbarillas?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we were dancing, and then
was there.
in the middle of a dance, she goes, "Ugh," and just kind of like wandered off, and I was like, all right, whatever. And then, so then I'm like dancing around and whatever, and then at some point she comes back and we're dancing again, and then she's like, ugh, and then like wanders off again. I'm like, what is up with this girl? And then the third time we're like dancing, and then she just goes, she like pushes me away and stays there, and then kicks me in the chest.
What is this lunatic doing?
And that's wild.
I got kicked, got the breath knocked out of me, hit the wall, and then she goes, and then wandered off.
Just straight.
Wait, what?
Then,
Pissed off?
That's how I met his
yeah, I was mad because then later, because like we were leaving, I was leaving with my friend, and she came up to me and she goes, so are we going to your place or mine? And I go, none of them.
Neither of those
Neither.
options. Was she on something? That's bizarre behavior.
So you never figured out why?
I think she was playing like hard to get. I don't know.
That's pretty damn hard.
That's like kindergarten hard to get, like pull
Wow.
someone's hair or whatever. Just booting someone in the chest randomly.
Yeah.
So that was it. That was the end of that ordeal with her.
Yeah. She was like, well, I think you should. I think we should leave together. And I was like, no. And then my friend was like, dude, I think you should leave with her. I was like, no, she kicked me.
Like if she'll kick you in public, what would she do in private?
Yeah.
For Christ's sake.
Like, welcome back to my place. And speaking of that story, when Blaine was lying about that story, so is this a real bar, Cowboys in Dallas? Is that a real place?
Yeah, that's the first nightclub that I'd ever been to. But
And
I never got.
What kind of place? What, like, it wasn't just like a full-on nightclub?
No, it varied. It's like from what I remember, it's a fucking massive place, and it is like a lot of two-step. But then they'd have nights where it was like hip hop music, and then dance floor would clear, and I think
And that would be the breakdance nights.
Yeah,
where drunk Blaine would wander in.
Yeah.
Blaine, you got robbed multiple times in a mall.
Yeah.
So what happened?
I was working at KB Toys back in Allen. Back when they were open, they didn't go bankrupt. That place sucked.
Jesus. Sorry,
And
KB.
one time I came into work, and like a bunch of dudes, KB Toys started investing in video game sales, and I just saw a bunch of dudes just fucking sprint out of the store with PlayStation 2s. Like they'd taken like 6 to 8 PlayStation 2s just running.
One of the best-selling consoles in history.
And I was like, oh, fuck. And I didn't know what to do. And like they instructed us not to chase because I'm not going to give my life for a couple of PlayStation 2s. So I told my manager, like, hey, man, a bunch of people just stole some PlayStations. So that was that time.
So that wasn't you personally, it was just your place of work.
No, yeah. And then the other time was also my place of work. Someone came in, they're like, hey, I need to break a 50. So I was like, cool. And then we like gave them the change. And then they're like, oh, can you break this 20 and give me like 5, 2 tins, and and then they started like, money was getting exchanged and all this shit, and then it's called like short changing, I think. And I'm such a fucking idiot.
Wait, they outmathed you?
Well, when it's all going back and forth really quick, you can easily lose track.
Yeah, the money was just flying back and forth. She must have been like a fucking math, major or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Blaine's left with $2. Like,
But like, yeah, basically what had happened is she bought a sucker, like the cheapest thing in the store, to make change from it, and then ended up walking out with like $200 or $300.
what?
How does that
Wait,
happen?
wait.
Whoa.
This is $1.50. I have $50. So can you make change for this? I'll take it in 2 20s, 100.
couple of
4 10s,
Benjamins.
Yeah.
She kept whipping out like hundreds again to break more change. She was like, oh, okay. And then I was just like, I remember the moment I realized like, oh, I'm getting robbed. And I was just like, wait, I need to put that money back. And then she was just like, I was like, well, fuck.
Just imagine you left standing there just like, what just happened?
Yeah.
He just has a wrapper.
My manager was pissed, and I had to tell her the story that I just told you guys, and she was just like, "You're a fucking idiot." Like,
Oh man.
I was like, oh.
I can't imagine having the confidence to try that. To be like, I'm gonna go in there and I'm
Why
gonna
they call them
confuse.
con men.
Like someone must have looked in the store, saw Blaine, and went,
That guy.
I think I can get it.
That
I
guy's
mean,
a-
if you
he's a
saw
chump.
me back then too, you would have thought, I'm gonna rob that guy.
Like, I'm gonna throw some numbers at this guy and he will shut down. And then that's my window.
I bet it never happened again though.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I hope not.
That you know.
We don't know.
And then that leaves Fredo.
Hey, what's up?
So you ran away from home and were chased back by a dog. That was
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I mean, their stories are crazy, but I didn't want to be home anymore because earlier that day my mom tried to run my dad over with a car, but then he deserved it.
Bad.
Oh.
So I was like, I had enough. I packed like like my handheld video games and whatnot.
Any
and-
jerky?
No, no jerky. And I was like, I'm gone. I don't know where I'm going. Smart of me. And I was like, I'm leaving. So I snuck out the back in the middle of the night, hopped our fence, and then started walking. And then I'm crossing the street. I look over, I just see this dog, and like, I don't know, there was like open yards, so I just saw him just standing there, and I was like, okay. And then he just kept staring at me, and I was just like, all right. And then I kept walking, and he kept like, keeping his stare fixated on me. And so I got to the point where I was like, I got really scared because I was young, and so I just like bolted back as fast as I could. I didn't look back.
So the dog like literally mad dogged you
Yeah,
until you left.
yeah. So you mad dog me to go back home. I went back home, and they never found out that I tried to leave that night because I just snuck right back in.
They never knew you even left.
No.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Do they know now?
What?
Do they know that you did now at this point?
I don't
No,
think
that
so.
got ran over.
No. Yeah. Dad doesn't know. He's under a car.
Running away.
Oh my god.
I feel like running away stories are always great because like they very rarely work out in the ways that you intended. I ran away when I was very young, but eventually someone just called my parents and was like, your son's standing at the end of the street with a suitcase because I wasn't old enough to cross the street. Like
that was
I
as
knew
far
I
as you-
wasn't allowed to cross the street. So the most I could do was get to the end of the road and then stand at the intersection.
There was like your stick and your little sack.
I had a
I can't go any
full-on
further.
suitcase, like with some pajamas and like a teddy bear or whatever.
I'd like to imagine you were also bald and with a beard at that age
I
too.
was. I was just a little shorter. That was just me, not able to cross the street without anyone. But so we went through the games, we went through that thing, all the stories for the envelopes. We get to this last game, and Chris, okay, you got the special,
Yeah.
okay? What? All
Which,
right.
okay.
Yeah.
And I have to clarify. I didn't try and order a blowjob.
Stop trying to clarify that. And once again, I don't think anyone's thinking that. They're thinking, okay, where were you?
Pretty sure you are.
Yeah.
I was somewhere. It was in the U.S.
It wasn't in another country.
No, it was in the U.S.
That's as far as you can narrow it down?
You got
I think it was
Honeyport on
Seattle.
you.
Okay.
All right, Seattle, and you think, I need a massage. I want a massage.
Yeah. I was traveling. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go get a massage.
And did you do any research? Or you just saw the place and you said, that place.
I looked up close by massages on Yelp, I think,
Okay.
and found it, and it was like, okay. And I went there, and it was kind of shady. Like, I went down like a staircase, and there was just this one old dude working at the counter, and he didn't speak English very well. And I was like, yeah, give me, a massage. Like, and he said something about like, do you want this, whatever? And I was like, sure. And then he took me to a hot tub, and told me to take off my clothes, and I did. And I got in the hot tub. It was very hot in this room. Also, it was like a hot sauna.
Like a sauna, okay.
In the hot tub for a bit, and he tells me to get out and go lay on the plank of wood. There's this like plank of wood that had like strips of wood, so there were holes. and I'm laying on it, and then he starts pouring honey on me.
I think you got married to a dude and you just don't
And then,
Pouring
but it was so hot in the room, the honey just like dripped everywhere.
How'd you know it was honey? Did he say this is honey, or did you taste
I mean, you
it,
could
or you just know?
You kind of. It was honey.
The man knows his honey.
Yeah.
It was just honey.
And then I sit and lay in the honey for a bit, and then he pulls out these like branches, and he takes them and he goes and he shakes them for a bit, and then he comes over to me and he goes and then did that for a bit, and then got rid of those branches and got some other branches and kept doing it, and I'm just like, what? And I was about to pass out from the heat also.
Sounds like he's preparing you for a meal. Like,
Right, like this is a witch.
Yeah, yeah.
You're cursed.
And then eventually he'd shaken my whole body down, and then he's like, go shower.
Go clean yourself up.
And that's it.
You're disgusting. Get out of here.
So then I like rinsed off all the honey and then left.
did you exfoliate? Is your skin feeling good?
I mean, I was very soft afterwards.
How much did you pay for this?
I think it was like $80.
Oh my God.
It was below 100, above 50, somewhere.
Honey
Hey, I'll give you that
shakedown.
special for like $10. I'll tell you what.
The honey brand. We need to remake this. I feel like we need to try to redo this.
We need a little boo the RTX where Chris just gives people massages in that style.
Now, did the branches make the noise, or did the guy make it?
He barely spoke. Like, it was mostly like, take off clothes, get in there.
Arnold?
So it's Arnold,
Wait, was it
Arnold
right.
himself.
The guy that you went in and talked to was
Yes.
the guy who did the massage.
Yes. There was, like I was saying, it was like shady.
wasn't
Yeah, like go down a staircase.
Ivor came out
Yeah,
from
yeah.
behind a door.
He was the dude I talked to, so I didn't really understand what I was.
As you were telling the story, I identified like 3 different points where I would have left, and you didn't leave at any of them, and you just kept going until you were getting whacked with branches with honey on it.
Chris also picks, when he tells stories, he's been on this show twice now. When he tells stories, even if they're not true, he'll latch onto something in particular, like the fact that he wants us all to know that he was not trying to get a blowjob. Well, because in the last time you were on the show, you lied about working in a haunted house, and that you scared a little girl, but really wanted people to know that you did not touch her.
Yes.
But she didn't exist.
Yes. Well, this.
You have a very strong, like, you don't want people to have the wrong opinion.
Yeah.
About
And
these
this
things.
was a
You
true.
got honey poured on you and beaten by branches.
Yes.
Did he part on the front or was it just the back?
It was just the back.
Okay, so he didn't hit your dick with the
No.
tree branch.
No, I just laid flat on the back. You know.
We know how your back would be showing.
Did you get honey in your ass? Like, was it sticking
Yeah,
in
did
your
it drip?
cheeks?
Yeah, didn't it go in your chest hair and stuff?
I don't.
It was on his back.
It was
Yeah,
on my
but
back.
It was dripping down. I was like, that would get all up in my.
Yeah, I don't.
Your,
Well,
your
I don't got it.
armpits?
Well, I don't
Did
have
you
it.
get honey booty?
I don't have it. Yeah, I guess I got honey booty. But I don't have a
Cinnamon
ton
rolls.
of. I don't have a ton of chest hair. And as I was saying, the planks are almost like. See that wood over there?
Yeah, like a
it's kind of like
pallet.
that. So the honey would drip down, so it didn't just like pool.
Okay.
Weird.
That is bizarre.
That is so weird. I mean, if you're watching this right now and you've heard of such a thing, let me know or let us know. Someone will read it. I'm just going to skim it or maybe just forget this whole thing happened. One of those two will go on. But those were the true stories behind the lies that we heard. And that is the last Chump Change for this season. We'll be back after the May 6th episode, episode 1 of season 2. So we'll be back to hear more truths behind the stories there. But yeah, thanks for a good season, everybody. Thanks for coming by. Thank you to all of you
Thanks
for
for
being on
having
the
me.
show multiple times. Very appreciated. And we'll see you guys next season. See you then. Bye-bye.
Shrimp!